All right, everyone, main news of the day. The Clintons have sort of entered the political arena again. Clinton has just made a message to people in swing states, trying to target especially younger people. Oh, get out and vote, volunteer for your local and state campaigns. Basically what it boils down to with Hillary Clinton is, hey, if you people had voted and volunteered more, I'd be in the White House right now. Shame on you, madrumph. 2 scoops of ice cream, maybe more. Get out and vote so that we can hashtag resist. By the way, I'm still relevant even though I'm not in politics anymore. I'm still relevant even though I technically haven't been in an elected office in what, a decade and a half or something. I'm still relevant even though the biggest highlight of my life was being a failed Secretary of State for a couple years. They're replacing, was it Kerry that replaced her or her that replaced Kerry? I can't even remember anymore. It's been that long ago. Memory's getting fuzzy. What the fuck? 2 failed would-be presidents. It's very funny. No, it's very funny to see them trot out Clinton, but that's a sign of desperation. Right now, you've got problems within the Democratic Party. Number one is, I'm seeing the tide turn on the Kavanaugh thing. It appears in recent polling that the Kavanaugh is seen as more likely to be confirmed. It's beginning to eke away at the Democrats' chances in the Senate. Even Nate Silver ticked it upwards for the Republicans there to, I think, 75% chance of them keeping the Senate. I happen to think it's closer to like 99% at the moment. It would take something catastrophic to move it in the other direction. Trump's approval is up. The economy is going along well. You probably have another extremely good economic report before the end of the year, before the midterms happen. Things are rolling along with North Korea. You could end up with an October surprise being a peace treaty there. Can you imagine what would happen to the election? The midterms would begin to move considerably. The Republicans need, in my estimation, to make up for 3 points in the generic ballot. They need to keep it within 4 or 5 of the Democrats. They don't need to be in the lead. They don't need to be even. They can be behind because I think there's systemic polling bias. I think that some of the polling bias, not all, the difference that we saw in 2016, the polls were off by, 7 or 8 points, I think, on average. Only about 4 of those points probably were due to polling methodology. The rest was hidden Trump vote, unexpected turnout, which fed in part into the polls. I think that absent those other 2, you got 3 or 4 points of swing there. It's in the Republicans' favor in the end number. It's not across the board. But remember, there are really only 3 or 4 Senate races at this point we need to watch. Hawley and McCaskill, Ted Cruz versus O'Rourke, Rick Scott down in Florida seeking that position, having left as governor. All 3 of them are ahead of their Democratic opponents. That would allow them to keep the Senate. Not only that, it'd give them, I believe, 2 extra seats. That's not a victory for the Democrats. Anything short of taking both the House and Senate is not a total victory, even if they recover the House. Their odds there, I think, may begin to decline on, again, good economic reports, North Korea, foreign policy news, and also the NAFTA overhaul. Regardless of what WAPO or the Wall Street Journal or Politico say, it's all a lot to do about nothing, that's very funny. So you're saying that the new trade deal is actually a globalist trade deal, and yet you still think Trump is an evil tyrant Hitler figure. So which is it? Is this trade deal going to upend the whole world economic order and plunge the whole world into the next Great Depression? Or is it a bunch of nothingness that doesn't really matter? You can't have it both ways. It seems that they're presenting it both ways, though, depending again on which corporate media outlet you read. Then you come to the alt media and it's like, okay, it's a trade deal. Again, a mild reformed style overhaul that doesn't address most of the tariffs anyway because it wasn't meant to. It's meant to be a mild reworking that won't shock the other countries. You make a big sell, you come forward and say, I'm going to rip it all apart. Then they come to the table and you say, okay, yeah, that's a lot of bluster, but there are some tariffs you must remove or reduce. There are some things that you need to do for our automotive manufacturing sector, and dairy, I think, was the other big one. And so he makes a mild victory where most negotiators would have said, okay, let's go in dry and not talk about any terms and spend a week tippling wine and golfing together, doing the Obama-style pineapple diplomacy, which is what he did. And ultimately, I'll come away with probably less than I had before. That's like a Bush or Obama typical DC-style negotiation. It's basically the U.S. is so great and so wonderful and so much on top of the world that we can actually give you favorable treatment, literally screwing ourselves a little bit with each deal that we pass and each tariff situation. We can do this a little bit over time and it'll never have a wider impact. That's where they were wrong. Trump is slowly reversing that trend. Clinton, though. coming out. When the Democrats are relying on Clinton, and when Clinton is front page news because nobody likes her, that's not good for the Democratic Party. Clinton does not have a lot of swing state support. So you're going to go into places where you've got vulnerable Democratic senators. Is McCaskill going to ask Clinton to campaign with her? What do you think would happen if she did? Oh, I lost 2 points in my polling aggregate last week. Shame on you, Mrs. Clinton. By the way, one of the few people I believe that called her out was basically like, I think, wasn't it McCaskill that told her to shut up? Because she kept hogging the limelight and basically doing the pity me thing. The DNC is responsible. The pink hat wearers are responsible. Everyone but me is responsible for me losing. Everyone but me, Chelsea, and John Podesta are responsible. Even Bill's a little responsible because of that time that he made that creepy stare at his rape accusers that I told people not to believe at the time, by the way, says Miss Clinton. I think it was the first presidential debate. Wasn't that funny, by the way, when Bill Clinton did that sideways glance at Broderick and all these other people? I thought it was funny because it's obvious he was uncomfortable. Probably not without good reason. He's like, oh shit, is the FBI going to come and nab me during the debate? Shit, they cut a deal with Trump too. Oh shit, quick, call up our slush fund providers. Now, seeing Clinton there's funny. Because Clinton's way easier to beat than most of the other Democrats. She's one of the weakest. The problem for the Democrats is they have no clear leader. Look, would-be leader Keith Ellison is desperately embattled. He's not seeking his old position anymore in the Senate. He's left that behind to go back to state-level AG legalism. He wants to be the AG, I think, in Illinois or something like that, doesn't he? Well, he's decided to drop back to high-level state politics as opposed to being sort of a junior senator. Partially because of these allegations of assault from him, probably. It's like, I'm not dealing with it. Go ahead, FBI, fucking investigate me. The Republicans and Keith Ellison both now calling for an investigation. Do it. If all parties consent, do it. By the way, maybe he's actually innocent, or at the very least covered his tracks very well if he's willing to openly call for that. He probably gets off scot-free. He probably wins the AG race. It doesn't really matter. He's not in the Senate anymore. But Clinton's one of the weakest Democrats because she has recent baggage. The problem is baggage. A lot of the Democrats that could otherwise have stood up to Trump have already been knocked out. Al Franken, fairly popular within the party before the allegations against him. Long-term politician, decently skilled, a lot of corporate money backing. He could have been a substantial candidate. He certainly would have been a front runner within the primaries of the Democratic Party. Might even have been the coronated sort of individual that'd say, okay, this neoliberal is going to be the next one to go up to be president. Trump, though, now, if he were to run, would destroy him. They're talking about the former CEO of Starbucks running. Oh, yeah, by the way, we're going to throw another dark horse candidate into the race because none of the people there right now can run. You haven't heard much from Gillibrand. I think she's trying to sit it out because of the Kavanaugh shit. I don't think she wants to be visible during the Kavanaugh fallout. I don't think she wants to talk about it too much. She makes her vague statement like any other Democrat does and then shuts up and gets out with the getting's good because I think she knows he's going to get confirmed and that's going to come crashing down on the Democrats' head. They were hoping to score a preemptive victory, an early October surprise, by making Kavanaugh not get confirmed. It now looks like the Republicans have one-upped them. Lindsey Graham's investigating the Democrats, turning it back into a partisan issue, actually. That helps to defang the Me Too side of it for the most part for the centrists. Meanwhile, the Democrats have overstretched for several days. It's making them look like unhinged bullies. In all honesty, as an independent voter, at first it's like looking at the Republicans, I'd say weak. Now it's like looking at the Democrats, bullies. Which one's worse? Well, the Republicans were weak before, so I'm not sure that hurts too much. And then they've got Lindsey Graham, who's, managed to discover his testicles recently somehow. Maybe he had monkey balls sewn into his body. That was a Victorian thing. People were taking, chimpanzee testicles, and they would literally have them surgically implanted into their body, like vein and all. Like, they thought that this would give them, it was called monkey glands. They thought it would give them more energy and stuff. It actually, honestly, caused gangrene more often and killed multiple people or gave them major health complications. I wonder if any of them got AIDS from that, actually. Considering it would have been in the same population, I wonder if this caused any mysterious deaths within families at the time that just weren't documented. Oh, he got gangrene and died. Then his sister died for no reason. We don't know what's responsible. She's got a flesh-eating ailment. It must have been they got flesh-eating disease from the monkey balls. I wonder if that happened at all. It'd be interesting. Someone should do some research, actually, in some old Victorian medical archives from the quack science side of things. Meanwhile, the only modern quackery we have, it appears to be the Democrats Party's strategy going forward. They still don't have a platform. Can anyone tell me their platform? Oh, we're going to raise taxes? Oh, that'll go along well. Me too, by the way. Yeah, we evidence is not required. What else do they have other than we're not Trump's party? And then Clinton is still one of the most powerful Democrats. She's one of the central figures of the party. Schumer can't really do that. Pelosi, she might get shoved aside by her own party if they do retake the House. There is an ongoing effort by the progressives in the Senate to keep, in the House, to keep Pelosi from taking that position without changing the rules to raise the threshold to make sure, this really is the will of the party and not just, a fairly small, simple majority within the Democrats. They don't want Pelosi leading him anymore. She's so old she might drop dead in the middle of a speech anyway. Isn't she like 75? You need new blood within the Democrats, and some of the most recognizable characters have either been tarnished by scandal or are geriatric. They're like 80 years old in some cases. You got Hillary Clinton. She's, I think, a year older than Trump. Now, it's funny that they were talking about Trump's age. They never talked about Clinton's age. It was very, very funny at the time. Meanwhile, Trump's not the one that collapsed into his van and had to be tossed in because of heat stroke. Oh, wait, it was flu. Oh, wait, it was severe pneumonia, but don't worry, she's getting better now. It's a very, very funny story indeed. That's about all. Peace out.